going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 12 of the Santana podcast. I am Rio Santana, and a little bit will be JC Santana, my father. Man, this January is on fire. Business-wise, personal-wise, just got back from Washington, D.C. with my girl. Had an awesome time. Flew into the most snow that they've gotten in a couple years in 24 hours, so it was like winter wonderland. It was an awesome, nice little change of scenery. Walked everywhere. I think that was the most I've walked in quite a few years. But has an awesome time. Came back recharged and ready to kick this week in the ass, and that's exactly what I did and the team did this week. As we freaking just took it by the neck and just cracked it. But let's get into some things. UFC 297. I know our guys didn't get the decision or the outcome that we wanted. Tough stuff. Dad will be going over some details of what we sort of went through during the training camp. No excuses, though. Both guys showed up. Perfect camp. Yes, ups and downs, but that's just training camp and all, whether it's mixed martial arts or any type of sports performance. Anybody that says they had a perfect camp, nothing went wrong, they're probably lying out their damn teeth. But Marc-Andre was ready. Yohan was ready. And listen, it's a fight game. It's a 50-50 shot. Everybody showed up. And it was just one of those nights. You just coin flipping. Just didn't go your way, but both guys are healthy, learning experience. Let some time to recover, rest, let the mind rest a little bit, let the body recover, and get back on the bandwagon and get back on the train soon. Maybe get a fight maybe this summer, maybe June, July. But Mark and Yohan are in great spirits. But the rest of the card, pretty damn decent. Let me tell you what I did not expect. As you guys know, we trained Gilbert Burns for Neil Magny, and I think all of us MMA fans have been watching Neil Magny for, 8+ years. And, he's kind of at the tail end of his career. We did exactly what we thought we were going to do when we trained Gilbert for it. Take down, submission, wrap it up in a bow, and get ready for the next one, with all respect to Neil Magny. Gilbert was just at a different level. And Neil came in, and kudos to you, my man. You put on an ass whooping. I'm a fan of Mike. I'm a fan of Neil as well, too. So I went in this kind of like, thinking Mike, the younger guy in Canada, full ready, just like the invisible cloak on. I thought Mike was going to finish Neil violently. And Neil took his best shots and kept moving forward, and does what Neil does usually, is drag you into deep waters with continuous pressure. Not the prettiest performance, but just one of those like just get the fuck off of me type performances, and got the late finish. So kudos to Mike. Kudos to Mike and Neil. Congratulations to Neil Magny on the win. Glad to see you back on the winning train. Raquel versus Bueno Silva. I thought Bueno Silva was going to get it. Trained Jackie from ATT, trains with her. She's a beast. And BJJ, like, no other. But, man, Raquel put it to her and just kept that grinding pace on her over and over. I think those girls will see each other again. I think Bueno Silva does get the finish maybe next time. But, Raquel is the champ now. And you got to respect her. So, excited to see what's next for her. And then the main event. I know if you ask 10 people, 5 are going to say Sean, 5 are going to say Du Plessis. I had Sean, okay? Both guys freaking stood in the pocket, boxed a little bit. Wasn't the prettiest, but it was kind of in Du Plessis' favor a little bit. Just that pressure of ongoing, a little bit of takedown, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I'm not upset with the decision. If, again, like I said, it was kind of up in the air. And, if you felt like it was a robbery, you might want to rewatch the fight again. But I think those guys, again, will meet. I think right now the matchup to make just for money-wise and entertainment-wise and story-wise is Dricus versus Adesanya. And come on. UFC 300 or UFC Africa, and that place would go insane. South Africa would go crazy. But I think if they throw the right bag at Dricus, I think they'll go UFC 300, and I think that will be a wrap, and that will be the main event for that card. UFC 299 and UFC 300 is looking ridiculous. Honestly, you guys know me. I'm a UFC fan. I don't even know what's happening for 298. So let's see. Let's see. I'm on the website right now. Um, let's see. Up and coming. Who is at 298? Oh, I can't miss that one. I cannot miss that one. We got Volkanovski versus Topuria. That's gonna be a banger. That's gonna be a banger. Let's see who's on that card actually. Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary. That's going to be interesting. Some story on that one. I know Ian called out Jeff Neal a couple fights ago. Return of Cejudo. That's going to be cool as well too. Not bad. Not a bad card. Mackenzie Dern, Justin Tafa, my boy. Yeah, it's not looking that bad. We got what, February 17th. So I think that is the week after the Super Bowl. Coming up Super Bowl weekend, we do have Gregory Rodriguez and Daniel Marcos February 10th. That is the UFC Fight Night, and that is Joe Pyfer is the headliner on that one. So that is a early card. That is 7 p.m. So Gregory and Daniel might be fighting around 4:30ish. So tune in on that one. What else we got coming up? I mean, nothing really. Panthers are looking good. I don't know if you guys saw that the other day. Florida Panthers played, and their opponent last time they played had a kind of a dirty hit on one of our players' cousins. He's totally out of the play, came up behind him and just smashed him against the glass. And they returned to Florida, okay? And Longberg, Chucky, and I forget the third guy on it was at the line before the face-off, and he said, listen, us three, we're going to go at it on puck drop. And that's exactly what they did before the game even started. Puck drop happened. Everybody dropped their gloves and went at it. It was pretty cool to see. But, yeah, let's not wait any further. This episode's going to be nice and tamed. Okay, it's got some good questions at the end as well. Dad's going to give you a little insight of what's going on with Gregory and Daniel, obviously, and some of the challenges that we went through with Marc-Andre and Yohan. But again, everybody's in great spirits. It's a part of the learning process. It's a part of the career. No one's got any significant injuries. We could all get back in the laboratory in a couple weeks and get ready for the summer. So these guys are going to come back stronger and better than ever. All right, let's get into the damn podcast. Let's go.
All right, everybody, this is JC Santana coming to you from the Institute of Human Performance in sunny South Florida. Post 297 UFC. We thought that thing was going to tank. You know, everybody said, well, you know, if it wasn't for Strickland and DDP, you wouldn't have an event and all that shit. And man, the event ended up being solid, pretty solid from the bottom all the way up. And we had some unexpected things happen, which was very good. Our boy, now I can tell you what went on in some of the camps. Rio's going to go more into detail on all the other fights, but I want to concentrate on basically our two fighters and just give you a light commentary on the main event. But Yohan was the first guy we've trained remotely since Thomas Denny back in 2005, 2006. Not very good on the phone. And I understand he struggles with English a little bit, but he speaks fine English. But he just doesn't like to get on the phone. He's very busy, yada, yada, yada. He overtrained like the dog shit out of himself. And he went into a fever, bad fever, 10 days out. And he is a big welterweight, and he cuts. I mean, he cuts about 30 pounds. He cuts 20 pounds the last 3-4 days. And I thought that was going to be an issue. So, you know, all things went great. He said, man, I can't believe I have bad luck. I go, it's not bad luck, okay? It's bad decisions. You try to tell them, don't train 14 times a week. Don't train 13 times a week. And they feel great because you give them extra strength. You give them extra gas. So what happens? One more round, one more day, extra hard. And the body can't take that. The body can't take all of that. And depending on your genetics, some guys are great fighters. They just can't take the volume. And that's fine. But in this combat world, these guys think that if they can't abuse their body, they don't have the right to declare victory. Listen to that. If they don't go through a lot of suffering and really punish their body, they don't deserve to win. I'm telling you right now, that is the mentality of the combat world for the most part. They don't think like professional athletes. They don't think in terms of nurturing themselves and fortifying their bodies. They think of recovering from torture. There's a difference. You want to do ice baths, you want to do, I don't give a shit, a proctology fucking test, all right, to make you feel better. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but don't tell me, all right, that you need to do it. No. You're doing it. All these guys are doing cold plunges, 2 cold plunges a day, and this and that and the other to try to recover from abuse. Prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you don't abuse the body, you don't need all this extra shit. But they don't get it. This is the first time Yohan trained with us, and the same thing happened. You gave a 16-year-old a Ferrari, and you told him not to speed down I-95. What the fuck do you think is going to happen as soon as he gets on I-95 at 1 a.m. and nobody's there? Or, 2 p.m. and, they got a charger next to them. Let me show you. So anyways, I didn't think he was going to make weight, to tell you the truth. I thought the weight cut in regards to how hard that virus hit him, how close it hit him to the weight cut 10 days out. You're starting to cut weight already. And so anyways, that was that. Conditioning, he was fine. He was fine. Because once you get over the cold, it's not like your conditioning leaves you. It comes back. Because everything you did to your muscles, everything you did to your tendons, to your central nervous system, everything's still there. Just your immune system is so busy fighting off a disease, fighting off a virus, fighting off a bacterial infection, whatever it is that you have, all right, that you cannot have. You don't have enough resources to express your training. Once the resources come back, you can put the pedal down and go. So he found out that he was pretty good. He goes, I'm ready. Conditioning never played a role, made a bad move. Patterson got his back and choked his ass out. So, you know what? Live and learn. We need a better camp. We need more discipline. You need to punish your body less and do better quality training. That's what we learned from there, but that was the problem with Yohan. With Marc-Andre. Marc-Andre had several challenges. He had a little thing with the chest, and you go, oh shit. MRIs, small tear, couldn't push, this, that, and the other. I go, don't worry about it. In 3 weeks, all that muscle is going to be repaired, and we'll get back on it. So first thing we did, we overcame a tissue injury, all right, which was not huge, but enough to fuck with the psyche and fuck with the training. But however you can maneuver around these things, that's what gives you your worth. It doesn't mean the training is wrecked. You could have a perfect camp with imperfect situations because you dealt with the imperfect situation in a perfect way, so you have a perfect camp. So first mechanical thing that happened, boom, we went right through it. Good cardio. As a matter of fact, slowed him down a little bit so he got stronger, better cardio, wasn't injured, boom, boom, boom. Then he started to push, and he got sick before Yohan got sick. Fever, antibiotics, the whole friggin' overtraining shit. Here's the deal. Mark had gone from 3 days of training with us, which I like, and I'll tell you why, to 2 training days because he wanted to do more technical and tactical stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I have never had an athlete, say, coach, I'm going to sacrifice 1 day here because I am going to go and actually learn a new skill. I mean, I'm talking about really learn it, identify it, look at it on video, study it, then practice it part to whole over 3, 4, 5 weeks. I've never had anybody do that diligently. So normally when they take a day off here, it's to go get more ass beatings over there. I said, not a good call, but I'm here to support you. So he went to 2 days. Here, he got sick, but he got sick with enough time. He got sick like 7 weeks out, okay? I go, Mark, please come back 3 days, all right? Sacrifice 1 day over there. Tailor your shit down because you know we go pretty hard here at certain times. So you got to tailor your stuff. You'll be fine. Perfect camp. He was in perfect condition. He seemed a little tired. I know he seemed to move a little slow, but that wasn't from conditioning. I can smell what he was thinking because I've been that guy. I have been that guy in combat. I have been the guy against a guy with a rep that you see him lay people out, comes with a good streak, and you go, shit. I don't want to be the one embarrassed. He's not going to pick me up. He's not going to slam me. He's not going to pin me. He's not going to knock me the fuck out. You know, I'm going to play it smart. And what ends up happening is you play it too conservative. And that's, I haven't even talked to Mark yet, but I know that if I talk to Mark and I ask him this question, now that you felt Chris Curtis, now that you felt him, okay, you think if you face him again, you can beat him. He'll say absolutely, maybe so, maybe not, but he'll say absolutely because it wasn't the monster that he thought it was going to be. And I knew it wasn't, but it's, you know how it is, you know, many times I thought I was facing a monster and my coach would tell me, you're better than him. And I would think he's telling me that because I'm his athlete. He's trying to psych me up. And now I realize, no, I was better than that guy. It's my approach to the fight wasn't what it needed to be. I was too conservative, all right? Not scared, but too respectful of the ability. And it turns out that if I would have exercised my full ability, my full athletic ability was better than that guy's full athletic ability, but I didn't express it. And when I didn't express it, I kept coming up short. And when you're in a situation like that, it's repeated exposures. It's how you get over a phobia. This was one of my menaces, Tyrone Belote, back in high school. I fought him in the district. I wrestled him in the district. Then I wrestled him in the regionals. And I went from not being able to control him to actually having the match possibly taken from me. There was a couple of throws and a couple of things that were not called inside. They were called outside. There were 5-point moves that would have won the match. It's not here or there. Bottom line is, I was getting braver on that second one, and I needed the third one. And the third one was going to be at the state championships, and we never met. Okay? Marc-Andre has to learn this lesson. You're better than, when somebody tells you you're better than them, you got to believe it because we're out here and we're not feeding you shit. Okay? You're longer. You have weapons that if you use them appropriately, you can shut him down. For example, Marc-Andre is stronger than Chris Curtis all day, every day. If you get in a clinch, I'm telling you right now, if they get in a clinch and Marc-Andre locks his hands behind Chris is not getting out, period, end of story, okay? Chris is not the banger that Mark thought he was. He's not the banger. He doesn't come from that gym. They come from touch, okay? And he didn't even go after Mark that much, okay? The low kicks were there all fucking day. Inside low kick, body kick. Inside low kick, body kick. And you know how that is. Bang, 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 move laterally, and the top opens up. Anyways, I think Marc-Andre learned a good lesson. It's a great time to learn it because you're not learning it fighting for a championship position or vying for top 3 position, okay? Marc-Andre was ranked what? Whatever he was, 20, 21, 22, 23, whatever. He was ranked up there. He just went split decision with a number 14 guy. So he'll bump down 1 or 2 by losing a split decision. Chris Curtis, he didn't gain no currency from this one. Zero. A guy that's ranked probably 4, 5, 6 points or positions below him, took him the distance, and, you know, and some people might have beaten. Personally, I had Chris Curtis winning, personally. And Marc-Andre is my boy, will always be my boy, but we learned valuable lessons. I haven't talked to Marc-Andre. I'm waiting for our lunch. And then, you know, we'll break it down and all that. I love the guy. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. And he learned a valuable lesson. It's a good time to learn it because you learn a big lesson and you don't pay that much. Okay, you lose and you still bump up a couple of steps. So that's good. But I wish he had I know that he wishes he had a repeat on this. But he's not going to get one unless they both fight for the title or for a title contention fight, and I don't see that happening. But anywho, that's that. So now we're going to bring you the FHE moment. That's the segment that FHE sponsors. Of course, FHE sponsors all of our fighters, and if it's not for them, we can't do the work that we do with our fighters, okay? And FHE, for those of you who don't know, is the #1 mental health facility, I would say, in Florida, and watch out, it may be the country. Insane. They treat mental disorders. They treat drug abuse. They treat trauma. They work with first responders, the military, police. Awesome company. They worked with one of our fighters, and we worked with them very closely with this one person, and they showed us how they work. And I'm telling you, man, on the money. So if you or anybody you know, okay, is going through shaky times, and I don't care what shaky is. It could be drug abuse. It could be a mental disorder. It could be sadness, depression, whatever. And you need help, FHE in Florida, down here, 10 minutes south of here, man. And, before or after you deal with FHE, you can come by and say hello. All right, so check them out if you're in need or you know anybody in need of a little bit of mental health. All right? Now, to talk about the segment, what we're doing now here at IHP. Of course, we got Yohan and Marc-Andre out the way. And now we got Gregory, Robocop, and Daniel Marcos coming up February 10th. And let me tell you, both of those guys are in shape. Holy jeez. Brad, I like you, bro. I like you. I like Brad. Like I like Chris Curtis. I think he's salt of the earth. Both of those guys, I would love to have them in my house and watch football, watch MMA, whatever, because they're solid guys. They're good guys. I love them. The way they comport themselves and everything. Every once in a while, one person may get crazy, may say something, But anywho, great guys. And I like Brad. But Brad, man, I'm sorry. Whew, brother, if you're going to pull out of a fight, this is a good one to pull out of. I'm only kidding. Please don't pull out of this one. You pulled out of the one in Brazil, and you probably had your reasons. But let's make this happen. This has been like a 3-year going. But let me tell you, Robocop is as strong as I've ever seen him. My God, just strength ain't going to be an issue. And if you know IHP training, conditioning is not going to be an issue. Heart, for those of you who saw Robocop against Chidi, with his skull opened. I mean, he had a third eye here, okay? And that just pisses him off. So heart is not an issue. Strength, definitely not an issue, okay? And conditioning will not be an issue. I can guarantee you that. And if that happens, Brad is in for a very, very, very long night at the office. So I'm anticipating really, really excellent stuff from Gregory. He's had a great camp. He is as big as a house. We call him now the monument here. He is a monument, man. So awesome. And Daniel Marcos fighting Arology or a little, how do you pronounce it, Rio? Arology. It's a single name. The young man is from Mongolia. Good fighter, man. Good left hook, good uppercut, and a flying knee. So I told Daniel, don't fucking sleep on this guy. Certainly, you can't do certain things. I'm not going to give away the game plan, but there's certain things you cannot do with this kid. And if you do it with this kid, you're going to be playing with fire. You cannot be in the line of that left hook, whether you're coming in or going out, and you cannot be in the distance of that right uppercut because he's deadly with those two things, and he'll throw flying knees. But Daniel Marcos is now officially, pound per pound, the strongest fighter we have here at IHP. That dude at 150, and he drops down to 235, at 150, 154, is using almost the same weight that Gregory's using on some of the exercises. Insane on strength, okay? So there has to be a certain game plan that both of them have. I'm not going to give away anything, of course, but we got something for Arology, or something like that. Anyway, see if we can find that pronunciation, Rio. So yeah, we're getting ready for those guys. This week they're doing circuits with 1 minute of rest, and then next week they do 1 minute of rest again. They repeat 2 weeks, 3 circuits, 5 minutes. So the last workout, the Saturday workout for both of them will be 5.5, 1 rest, 5.5, 1 rest, 5.5. So 5.5 times 3, that's 16.5 plus 2, 18.5 minutes. Soup to nuts. Okay, they come in, they get geared up, they go through the whole same thing as the fight, and then they go. And usually we have a good amount of fighters here on Saturday, so they're yelling at them. And so they're trying to set records. So it's very, very competitive like. So we go 18 minutes. Saturday, 2 weeks out and a week out. That's what we're getting done. Marcos is getting there a little earlier. and because Roger Carl and Troy are going to be there for another fighter the weekend before UFC. So he's going to have 10 days in Vegas, about 9 days in Vegas, with his team to really, really gear down. We need this one. We need this one, and so he can keep his winning streak together. So that's what's happening here now from that FHE segment. Again, thank you, FHE. And now we're going to the JC rant. The rant. And it's very... We were going to do this, and then it just turned out that this is the employee meeting that we had this Tuesday here. And it was about respect, okay? As you guys know, John Anik is good friends with us and trains here out of IHP, especially with my son. I've had the pleasure of training him once or twice, but we're compadres. I mean, we love the guy. Let me tell you something right now. You're not going to find a better man. Better man. Everybody has flaws, but you're not going to find a better man. You're not going to find a better man for this reason. He is a great father, good husband, great friend, great brother, okay? But he is also a consummate professional. You're not going to find anyone in MMA and maybe in any sport that I know of that does the homework. I wager big money that John takes between 35 and 45 hours of solid preparation. I mean, alone time preparing for each UFC that he does. 35 to 40 hours. I haven't asked him, but I guarantee you that that's the time that he spends. And all of those cards are there, the homework. Then the talent, because of the experience. He's got radio experience, so of course he's got that voice with that, that intonation and that diction that he uses. His vocabulary is almost poetic in nature. The wording that he uses, he's elite. I call him GOAT. He is the GOAT of MMA. I like Rogan. I like DC, but I'm talking about as a knowledgeable. I'm talking about high delivery, professional delivery, voice, intonation, diction, delivery, information, access to information, preparation. Nobody touches him. Not DC, not Joe Rogan. I love both guys. I find them funny. Joe Rogan, I love everything he's done with his podcast and everything. I love DC's accomplishments. I think DC's funny. When he opened up the cut, he goes, Joe, it's talking to you. Meaning the cut was so open, this thing was flapping, the skin was flapping. He goes, it's talking. The eye is talking to you. So DC's funny as shit, But John Anik is a different league of commentator, period. And the one that's right after him is Dominic Cruz. Dominic, my boy, I told John Anik, because he asked me, who do you think is one of the top guys? And he asked me this a year ago. I said, Dominic. You can tell that Dominic Cruz prepares. And his delivery, you can tell that he's thinking, already formulated, and he's thinking about how he's going to deliver it. It's just insane, okay? And of the girls, Laura Sanko, I love her, of course, beautiful woman, very well versed in MMA and jiu-jitsu. As you know, she practices jiu-jitsu. And I'm going to be honest, I love the girl. I think she's awesome. She deserves everything. When she's there with the guys, I don't know if it's an energy. I don't know if it's a sound, the intonation, the volume. There's something that when she's there with the guys are bum, and then she comes in, and in my eyes, the thing goes, comes down a little bit. And there's something, I don't know if it's the energy or what, but it drops. It drops when she's on board, and she's awesome. But and I wish I could know what it is, but there's something that's missing. But anyway, John Anik. And so I had Du Plessis, as you know, last podcast I said, I think Du Plessis is going to win this one. And I'll tell you why. Because I love Strickland. I laugh. We play all his YouTube shit. My wife and I are huge fans. But the truth is the truth. Strickland is not the MMA fighter Okay, for example, that Izzy Adesanya is. Izzy had a shit day against Strickland, and Strickland walked his ass down, and Izzy didn't have a good outing. Got his ass mauled. Period. But if you look at his style, it's not hard to figure out. It's not hard. I said Strickland's going to win it. He's not going to defend it 6 times. He's not. He's not, because once you figure out that narrow stance, choppy little steps, and you realize you can kick the shit out of that front leg, and you realize that he's not gonna, with that stance and that walking forward, pop, 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 just walking little steps with that narrow stance, he's not gonna defend good takedowns, especially those tackling takedowns that DDP hit him with. Anybody with those tackling takedowns with that timing will take him off his feet. Off his feet, because you can't defend it. You don't have the stance for that. Okay? And that little bullshit check that he does with the front leg, you can do that if you see the thing coming, if I'm standing in front of you. But if I'm taking lateral steps and I throw the kick while you're either planted on that front leg pivoting, okay, or lifting that front leg to follow me moving laterally, I'm going to kick that leg until it's raw. And when somebody figures that out, Strickland will not touch that person. Just because you can spar 20 fucking rounds doesn't mean you're a good MMA fighter. You can be a good boxer. This ain't boxing. Left jab on the money? Yeah, left jab on the money, but left jab doesn't win a fight. Okay? I had Du Plessis winning. Close? Yeah, if you would have said Strickland won, would I have been pissed? I go, no. It's tight. It's tight. It's, by 1 point. By 1 point. That's a, what is it? 2, 3, 4. I think I had 2, 3, 4. Could 4 gone the other way? Absolutely, it could have gone the other way. Could have gone the other way. So it's a tight fight. I had Du Plessis winning, and I predicted that Du Plessis won. And I'll tell you why Du Plessis won. Du Plessis won for the same reason that Khamzat beat Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns outstruck Khamzat Chimaev. And I knew they were going to give it to Khamzat. Why? Because there's an intangible energy. There's an intangible energy between two fighters that the judges, they absorb, but sometimes the points don't reflect it. Example, when Chimaev put Gilbert down with that right jab, Gilbert fell to his side, kind of like helpless a little bit, He was, and then recovered and then had a great fight. That's Gilbert's fight of his life. But when Gilbert cracked Chimaev, his back was against the fence, and he cracked Chimaev with that right that I've never seen anybody take that right from Gilbert. Nobody in stand. And Chimaev went down. What did he do? He hadn't hit the ground yet and he was taking Gilbert down. So one punch, one jab, go down on your side, versus the right hand from hell lands flush, breaks Gilbert's hand. He blew a ligament in the hand, okay? And this guy hits the ground and shoots a takedown. That's an energy. That's an energy that you pick up and you go, okay, the predator is Chimaev. The technical extra points go to Gilbert. And they gave it to Chimaev. Well, it's the same thing. Everybody says they overrated the takedowns. They don't overrate the takedowns. It's an energy. It's an energy. The energy that DDP had 2, 3, and 4. Boom! That's what won the fight. Forget if the jab was there, if the takedowns, he didn't do shit with the takedown. It's the energy, the aggressor, okay? The guy in control, the guy that's hungry. It's that energy, that predator energy. That's what people are scoring, guys, okay? And they got all over John Anik, and John Anik got hurt. And here's my thing to John Anik, and we're going to go into the respect. John, okay? You can't take this stuff too seriously, because you have to understand. You want to, it's like you want to engage with drunk people. Will you engage with a drunk? You come out of a bar. There is a guy who's sitting on the ground drunk as fuck. He calls your old lady a hoe and whatever it is, and you a faggot and whatever the fuck he calls you. Would you stop and ask him, excuse me, do I know you? You don't have the right to talk to me like that. Would you engage with him in that respectful, sophisticated manner? No, you wouldn't. Why? Because he's fucking drunk. Okay. When you're dealing with little people that are drunk with the power of the keyboard warriors, They're drunk with the power that being anonymous in their mother's basement, okay, unemployed, with a keyboard and access to John Anik, to John Anik's board, to John Anik's Twitter feed, to John Anik. And everybody that John Anik, okay, knows, they're going to see what I'm saying. All right? You're drunk with that narcissism, that shit, that me. You're drunk with that. Why are you drunk? Because that's not you. So you get drunk with the emotions of, oh, look at me, false sense of bravado. That's who you're dealing with, bro. And let me tell you, if you go to football, it's going to be the same shit there. Same shit there. Okay, now, look at MMA. Look at football. Number one, football is a sophisticated sport. It's usually played and coached by people with 4-year degrees. How many players on the field don't have 4-year degrees? And I'm not saying that they're scholars by any stretch of the imagination, because we know some of these people with 4-year degrees can't spell fucking cat. Got it. But for the most part, they're raised in that environment. They know what a curriculum is. They may not know how to read, but they know what a curriculum is. They at least have some level of sophistication of a hierarchy of university, president, directors, professors, coaches. This is my place in this whole thing. And if I do well, I get adulation. If I do well, I get credit. If I really do well, I can manipulate some things. I get special tutors. They can take exams for me. They learn that shit. That's sophisticated negotiation, sophisticated level changes in society, become social economic levels of change later on. So everybody on the field in a football game, from the athletic trainers with 4-year degrees, to the strength coaches with 4-year degrees, to the coaches, to the assistants, to the coordinators, to the owners, they're all educated, sophisticated people. Even the least sophisticated among them is sophisticated. Move that to any fighting organization you want. Any fighting organization. Who the fuck are you dealing with? Exactly. You're not dealing with that. So it comes from the top down. So if at the top you're dealing with sophistication, you'll probably have more sophisticated fans. Why? Because the culture breeds the culture. Okay? You have MMA. Who, remember back in the day when most MMA guys were college wrestlers? When the college wrestlers came in and overtook the jiu-jitsu specialists, which was the first wave? Okay? Remember that? Because Royce Gracie came out, won with jiu-jitsu. What the fuck is that? What just happened? How did he win? Oh, it's an arm tap, a wrist tap, this, that. What is that? And then the wrestlers found out what it was. And then the wrestlers ruled for a decent amount of time. From Matt Hughes all the way to Dan Henderson, all the way to, all these guys. Then you had some strikers like Chuck Liddell and everything, but the wrestlers ruled. How was the sophistication of the athletes? Did you hear any shit talking? The only shit talker there was Tito Ortiz, that by today's standards, okay, was tamed. In came Chael Sonnen, was the first one to make a comment about Tito's then girlfriend or wife or whatever, making money with her mouth or whatever. And then the thing just went shit show from there. Until now you have Colby talking about, a dead father. The fuck? And I said it. Look, Dana can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's a great businessman. He's got accolades out the ass in terms of business. Fine. Okay? But if you want to take barbarians and tell them you can say whatever you want, and you don't want to curb not what people think, not what people say, but the culture of your sport, the culture of your organization. If you don't want to shape that, from the top down, fine. Go ahead. Free speech. Okay, let's free speech go into airports, free speech go into planes, free speech go into government and courts. Okay? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It'll be fucking chaos. Because you cannot give freedom, because 80% of the population doesn't know how to fucking handle that. Freedom is a very, very, very valuable thing. It's like a diamond, a $20 million diamond. Do you keep that diamond just anywhere? If you had a $20 million diamond, where will you keep it? what kind of care would you take versus a crystal? Okay, so if you have freedom, okay, you gotta curtail, you gotta protect that. And protect doesn't mean you shit all over everybody. No, no, no. You gotta protect it in the terms that try to see if you can foster a culture, okay, of respect that will never go wrong. Doesn't mean you force anybody to say anything, okay, but you can encourage respect. You can encourage, okay, higher level operation at the level of character, at the level of spirituality, psychology, and everything. You can encourage it. You don't have to force anybody, but you can encourage it. I would greatly appreciate, the company would greatly appreciate if you blah, 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 blah. But if you're sitting on freedom of speech, which I'm a freedom, you know, First Amendment, Second Amendment, I'm all there. But I understand the drawbacks of that. And there's no such thing as free speech here. You know that. Because there's certain things you can't say in certain buildings under certain conditions. You just can't say that. Because it causes harm. So, if we get to the point where shit talking, you know, like John Anik is hurt by some of these people talking shit, fuck that. John Anik's got, you know, I told him, bro, Scotch guard that bitch. Boom, let that shit roll off. But I think, like here at IHP, there's certain things, and I'm a fucking trailer mouth, right? I'm a shit talker. But you got to conduct yourself here. You know, I'll talk shit amongst the guys. Locker room talk, I'm the worst. Okay? But I don't go out in front of my clients and talk like that when ladies are here, when kids are here, because I curb my freedom of speech based on respect and decency. So I was telling my staff today, this Tuesday, what is respect? Everybody talks about respect. The reason they went after John is because they have no self-respect. Some little 25, 22, 20-year-old, you know, keyboard warrior they don't know what respect is. They're not raised in a society that teaches them what respect is. Ask them, what is respect? They won't even fucking know the answer to that. They won't know that it's an admiration, okay? A consideration of feelings. Like, when I say something, I'm considering what you're feeling. Why? Because I admire you. Based on what? Based on your actions, based on your characters, based on your accomplishment, based on your resume. What is your resume? Your reputation, what you have produced in this world. Those actions, okay? Okay? Because I don't worship things. I worship actions, and I worship even more character. Because you can have the right actions for the wrong reasons. Or you can do the right actions and they're fake. I want to know the character. I don't worship things. I don't worship like Dana White's $500 million. I don't give a shit. You know? What I worship, what I look at is A, do I admire him because I respect him based on his actions, the way he conducts himself. Well, in the business world, I certainly respect that. Do I think he is somewhat at times unnecessarily vulgar with people? Yeah. Yeah. I look at the Dana White now, and remember the Dana White when he first came out with the UFC? Remember that guy? Had a little bit of hair. He kind of talked like this a little bit. Different. That's what $500 million does to you. Okay? You'll fucking pound your chest, and you just won't give a fuck. Okay? But not when you're coming up. So my thing is, the character of when you have money should fit the character of when you didn't have money. That personality that you have when you're a billionaire should be the same personality you had when you had nothing. Okay? If you didn't pound your chest here, you were humble, you were respectful, okay, you were amicable, you were able to discuss things normally without insulting people because you didn't have the leverage to insult them and go, fuck you. And now you get money and you start insulting people, you know, even that may even deserve to be cranked a little bit. And I'm not talking about the reporters. I'm not talking about those soy reporters. Fuck them. You know, I'm talking about he's gone hard on fans. You know, he's gone hard on people that I said, you know, this person didn't really mean, maybe they used the wrong word, but they didn't mean anything by it. And you know, he's gone off on you're an idiot, you fuck you, or whatever, you know. That to me, I don't like it. I'm a Dana fan. I'm a Trump fan too. You know, do I like what he says? Do I like the way he acts? No, I don't like. I would certainly phrase things differently, do things differently. Okay, but you have to respect people. You have to respect your elders because they've got there. They got there. And you don't get to 50, 60, 70 in this life without knowing a few things. So you 20-year-olds, you got to respect elders, number one. Number two, you got to respect accomplishments. If somebody that is in a higher social, economic, and social status than you, because they have more wisdom, because they have more money, because they have more education, they have more skills, humbles themselves to your level and communicates with you, invites you, and you go, yeah, this, that, and texts you, you have to respond. You have to respond that you owe that to them. It's called respect. An admiration, a consideration due to feelings. What would my actions make them feel? Okay, I care about their feelings. I admire their accomplishments, their character. All right? And you got to fucking follow through, hit them back, do not ghost those people, certainly do not insult them, okay? If you don't agree with them, disagree respectfully, okay? And we're all good. But John Anik, you're in a world that has lost respect. And you're in an organization that really doesn't foster it. Sorry, it doesn't foster it. Why? Because they're behind the curtain of free speech. And you can't be 100% free speech with irresponsible people and don't think that disrespectful shit's gonna come out. Okay? Look, I'm not pro-trans and all that shit. Does that mean I'm going to go after a trans person and disrespect them on purpose? No. If you respectfully come to me and say, look, I relate, I would like to be referred to as he. And I know damn well you're a woman, you know, but you come respectfully, I'll refer to you as he. I have no need to embarrass you, no need to hold to my guns. Fine, it's your life. I'll if I invite you to my house or we're in an elevator or something and we have communication and you kindly ask me to refer to you a certain way, I'll fucking call you a lizard. I don't give a shit because I respect you. You respect your ability to be the lizard. But don't fucking tell me to say you're a lizard and to believe you're a lizard. No, I'm calling you a lizard because you're out of your fucking mind and you were nice enough, okay, to ask me to call you a lizard, and I'm not going to have to fucking deal with you after this elevator opens. Okay? Am I going to invite you to dinner? Probably not, because we don't have that kind of shit in common. But you can be respectful, okay, even of the most insane things. So MMA folks, okay, you 20, 21-year-olds, all right, act as if you were in front of the person. Don't get all fucking brave because you're behind a screen and you got a keyboard in front of you. All right? What would you do if that person was in front of you? Okay, even better, because John Anik is not the most menacing guy, and some of these people may be 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. What would you do if that person was 7 feet tall, 300 pounds? Would you be still talking that shit? If you're still talking that shit in that situation, then talk that shit. But you better be able to back it up. Okay? Otherwise, be nice. Be respectful. Don't post shit your mother wouldn't be proud of. Your father wouldn't be proud of. Your wife wouldn't be proud of. Your husband wouldn't be proud of. Your children wouldn't be proud of. Don't post that shit. All right? Check it. God damn it. All right. Enough for the rant. Now, we have some questions from the We Listen. Now, this is the We Listen segment. Before it was the JC Rant segment. Now, they asked me this question, and I'm like, all right, what about fruits? I'm going like, okay, what about fucking fruits? When would you eat fruit and when would you not eat fruit? Pre-workout, post-workout? I'm going, guys, fruits are good, you know, phytochemicals, phytonutrients, carbohydrates, fiber, all good. If you're watching your weight, stick with the berries. If you're not watching your weight, bananas, mangoes, pineapples, papayas, all that good sugary ass shit, bang it. Bang that beat, okay? As far as using sugar to fuel a workout, hard foods is not the best way because it takes time to digest. And since fruits are fibrous It takes even a little bit longer than, say, orange juice versus an orange. The orange juice gets into your blood faster. Okay, so therefore it's going to get into your muscle faster than if you eat the actual orange. Now, if I have the chance, I'll eat the actual orange because of many reasons: the fiber, the phytonutrients in the pulp, and all that. But if you're looking at sugar to enhance a workout pre, during, or post, you want a simple sugar, orange juice, grape juice, and whatever other glucose is put into some of these pre and post workouts, especially if you're practicing nutrient timing that we talked about before. If you want a big bang of insulin that you do at your own risk, because, you know, if you just do protein alone, you still get an insulin spike. So if you want to stay lean and hard, we know that you get an additional uptake if you do sugar with protein right after the workout. You do get more uptake, but the question is, you got to weigh the pros and the cons. Whey alone and whey in carbohydrates, the risk of becoming, you know, or the risk of too much sugar, all right, and eventually becoming a diabetic should you have that gene expression, all right, versus just protein, whey protein, get a little bit of insulin response, which whey protein will give you. Does the difference, is the difference worth the extra calories, the extra load of sugar? In my opinion, no. But if you're a fucking monster, you're a triathlete, you're a wrestler, you're an MMA guy, and you're doing 2-a-days, don't be afraid of, you know, doing creatine and whey protein with a little bit of orange juice or grapefruit juice or maltodextrin, whatever it is that your supplement has, because you will, that shit just goes right to muscle glycogen. So you're not going to get fat, you're not going to spike insulin, you're not going to become diabetic, none of this shit. Okay, if you're a big time athlete. If you're doing weights for fitness and health, then just do the whey. Okay? The fruit, stay with the berries. If you want to do fitness and control your weight, stay with the berries. Does that mean you can't do a banana? Of course you can do a banana. You can do like half a banana a day, one banana a day. It ain't going to kill you. If you don't do a banana, you can do a mango during mango season. It's not going to kill you. It's just saying, hey, it's fruit. Because it's fruit, it's healthy. Because it's healthy, I can do unlimited. No, because if you do 1,000 calories worth of, you know, with 4 or 5 bananas, big ass bananas, yeah, you're going to gain weight. And you might get fat, especially if you're the type that when you gain weight, you gain fat with. Be careful with the high glycemic fruits. Stay with the berries, general scope, general rule of thumb, stay with the berries. And if you want a banana, a mango, a papaya here and there, have at it. Awesome stuff. All right. Then we had another one. What was it, Rio?
Let me see. Full range of motion crunch, going past the neutral position. So
full range of motion. Got it. This is huge. Because I had another exercise, I had another question. This one with crunches, and the other one was with flies. And we just did flies, my partner and I, just 50 minutes ago, before the podcast, Greg and I. And I explained it to him. So I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to take one crunch and just answer 3 questions, okay? The question is partial range of motion versus full range of motion, okay? Full range of motion is not necessary for optimal growth. Let's start with that, because optimal growth does not respond to the range, rather the loading parameter in what they call cellular disruption. If you cause cellular disruption with half a range, you're going to get big. If you use full range of motion with little load, nothing. Now, you'll ask me, what if you use, listen to this, full range of motion with optimal load versus partial range of motion with optimal load? For functional strength, I'll take the partial range of motion if the partial range of motion is exactly the range you're going to use in clinching, if you're going to use in one-on-one, if you're going to use swinging a bat, golfing, whatever. I'll work heavy, the range of motion that I'm going to use, versus the full range of motion at the optimal load. Why? When you're doing an exercise, full range of motion, there's, depending on where the loading parameter is, where the cable is being pulled from, if you're using weights up and down, if you're laying down, if you're inclined, if you're flat, all of that, if your arm is bent. Like, for example, look at this fly. Okay, where is the maximum loading parameter? You don't know. Why? Because I don't tell you where the loading vector is coming from. If the loading vector is coming that way, as in a cable pulley, which we were doing today, all right, it's different. My maximum loading is not here. Maximum loading is when I'm at perpendicular right here to the vector. So my maximum loading is going to be here, not here, right? Now, if I do the same exercise and I'm laying down, then the loading parameter with the dumbbell is vertical. It's coming straight down. So my maximum load is here, and the load, because the maximum lever arm is here, maximum load is here, and then here, I got no load. So that's why bodybuilders do different exercises, different variations of a chest exercise. Because some chest exercises will have the terminal position maximally loaded. Others will have the open position maximally loaded. And if you're doing full range of motion, your maximum lever arm is going to be sacrificed. The weight that you can use there, let's say it's 100. Okay? But in order to get to that maximum lever arm, that's where you're really strong, you got to go through the one you're really weak. So you can't work that range of motion that's really strong with maximal loading. Why? Because the loading parameter is limited to your weakest range of motion. Got it? So to answer your question, how do you apply this? Okay, crunch. If I'm laying down, it's not the same thing that if I'm being pulled this way by a cable or this way by a cable. If I'm laying down, the initial, I get my shoulder blades off the bench, okay, if I'm laying down, with the upper abdominals. And once I lock that in place, then the hip hinges. And when the hip starts to flex and hinge, it's my hip flexors, really, that do that, which are your iliopsoas and your rectus femoris, one of your quadriceps and your big hip flexors that tie to the lumbar spine and pull you as you're flexed. So if you want to work upper abs, that's why you do crunches. If you want to work kind of not lower abs, but if you want to work lower abs and hip flexors, you do sit-ups. Of course, the sit-up will include the crunch in there as well, because that's what initiates the movement. All right, so that's why crunches and sit-ups are different. Now, if you're hanging and you're doing knee tucks, now where's the loading parameter? The loading parameter is not like, here's the lumbar spine, it's not like this. Here's the lumbar spine, and there's no loading parameter here when you hang. And then all of a sudden you start to bring your legs up, and here is your lumbar spine, here's your iliopsoas, and your rectus femoris is here, and then bam, you start to lift this up. Upper abs, they're not even working. You're not flexing the thoracic spine. So they're not working, so it's all lower. See what I'm saying? So it all depends. And that is the reason you need different exercises to get the strong ranges of motion of one muscle group. Because one load or one exercise will maximally load a certain range, but it will load it here oftentimes not at the optimal load. Why? Because it's got to get through the weak area to get to the strong area. So if my weak area, I can only lift, let's say 30 pounds. Let's say a fly. In here, I could probably close 80s. But out here, I could probably deal with 40s. Okay, so now I'm doing my 80 range with 40 pounders. Shit. Here, I'm working really hard. Here, I'm not doing anything. But now if I get the cross cable pulleys, here, I get my 80. I don't have to deal with here. See what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird. I'm a geek, biomechanics geek. I'm a physics geek. I'm a math geek. So I can actually visualize this stuff. But that's the reason that you do different exercises. That's the thing behind the crunch and the sit-ups. They work different muscle groups because of the loading parameter. And that's why bodybuilders do different exercises for the same muscle group. It's not because they're bored. And most bodybuilders don't even know exactly why they're doing it. They can just tell you, this one pumps me up here. That one pumps me up there, because they've gone through a lot of experience. So there is the we listen portion with a lot of goddamn biomechanics in there. But hopefully I stated it pretty simple so you can understand it. And that's it for me. Rio's going to wrap it up, and we will see you next week.
All right. Pretty easy. Nice and chilled. Nice and chilled. Yeah, and there goes Dad's insights. Pretty much, there was some stuff at the end. He got a little technical with you guys. But again, we appreciate you guys always tuning in, always leaving the comments, always leaving the opinions. Good, bad, pretty, or ugly. We're always trying to just bring a product and bring a service and just talk to you guys. Just talk to you. This is our little venting section, our little venting platform. And we appreciate you guys always tuning in. And one thing, leave my brother John Anik alone, man. He is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time when it comes to TV analysts for MMA. Okay, not just UFC, MMA, period. And if he does venture off to other sports, always going to support my man. And very, very excited for him. I actually train him Tuesday, so we'll be doing our little guys talk during our session like we always do. But, man, you know, at the end of the day, keyboard warriors are going to be when they're behind this, you know, anybody can be 7 feet tall, anybody can be 6'8", everybody could be all muscles. But when it's time to say something to somebody's face, you know, they're not like what I like to say is about that action. All right. So, John, we love you. You got the best support system behind you. Don't let nobody bother you. And if they do, you know, you can call me. I'm about that action. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. We love you. Leave a comment below. Share it. Like it. Post it. Report it. I don't give a damn. All right. See you guys next week.